Hello and welcome back to Kim Reads as we continue with the Boxcar Children. 4. Henry has 2 surprises. Jessie whispered, "Keep still." The 3 children did not say a word. They sat quietly in their boxcar looking at the bushes. "I wonder if it's a bear," thought Benny. Soon something came out. But it wasn't a bear, it was a dog, which hopped along on 3 legs, crying softly and holding up a front paw. "It's all right," said Jessie. "It's only a dog, but I think he is hurt." The dog looked up and saw the children, and then wagged his tail. "Poor dog," said Jessie. "Are you lost? Come over here and let me take a look at your paw." The dog hopped over to the boxcar and the children got out. Jessie looked at the paw and said, "Oh dear, you poor dog. There is a big thorn in your foot." The dog stopped crying and looked at Jessie. "Good dog," said Jessie. "I can help you, but maybe it will hurt." The dog looked up at Jessie and wagged its tail again. "Violet," ordered Jessie, "please wet my handkerchief in the brook." Jessie sat down on the stump and took the dog in her lap. She patted him and gave him a little piece of bread, and then she began to pull out the thorn. It was a long thorn, but the dog did not make any noise. Jessie pulled and pulled, and at last the thorn came out. Violet had a wet handkerchief ready. Jessie put it around the dog's paw, and then he looked at her and wagged his tail a little. "He wants to say thank you, Jessie," cried Violet. "He is a good dog not to cry." "Yes, he is," agreed Jessie. "Now I had better hold for him a while so he will lie down and rest his leg." "We can surprise Henry," remarked Benny. "Now we have a dog." "So we can, but that's not a surprise. I was going to get a lot of blueberries for supper." "Can we look for blueberries while you hold the dog?" asked Violet. "Yes, you can," said Jessie. "Look over there by the trees." Benny and Violet ran over to look. "Oh, Jessie," cried Benny, "did you ever see so many blueberries? I guess 5 blueberries. No, 10 blueberries. Jessie laughed. "I guess there's a lot more than 5 or 10, Benny," she said. "Get a clean towel and pick them into it." For a while, Jessie watched Benny and Violet picking blueberries. "Most of Benny's blueberries are going to his mouth," she thought with a laugh. "But that's just as well. He won't go hungry waiting for Henry to come back with the milk." She carried the dog over the children and sat down with them, the dog on her lap. With her help, the towel was soon full of blueberries. "I wish we had some dishes," Jessie said, "then we could have some blueberries and milk." "Never mind," said Violet. "When Henry comes, we can eat some blueberries and then take a drink of milk." When Henry came, he had some bundles. He had 4 bottles of milk in a bag, a loaf of brown bread, and also some fine yellow cheese. He looked at the dog. "Where did you get a fine dog?" he cried. "He came to us," Benny said. "This is a surprise for you." Henry went over to the dog, who wagged his tail. Henry patted him and said, "He might be a good watchdog." "Why is the handkerchief on his foot?" "He had a big thorn in his foot," answered Violet. Jessie took it out on the handkerchief. "It hurt him, but he did not cry or growl." "His name is Watch," remarked Benny. "Oh, is it?" said Jessie, laughing. "Watch is a good name for a watchdog." "Did you bring some milk?" asked Benny, looked hungry at the bottle. "I should say I did," replied Henry. 4 bottles. "Poor old Benny," said Jessie. "We'll have dinner now, or is it supper?" "It must be supper," said Henry, "for soon we will go to bed." "Tomorrow we'll eat 3 times," said Jessie. Now Jessie liked to have things in order. So she put a laundry bag on some pine needles for a tablecloth. Then she cut the loaf of brown bread into 5 pieces. The cheese was cut into 4. "Dogs don't like cheese," remarked Benny. The poor little boy was glad too, for he was very hungry. Violet put 4 bottles of milk on the table. Jessie put some blueberries and cheese at each place. "Blueberries!" cried Henry. "Jessie, you had 2 surprises for me." "I'm sorry we don't have any cups," Jessie said. "Now we'll have to drink out of the bottles. Come and sit down." So the supper began. "Look, Benny," said Henry, "we take some blueberries and then eat some brown milk and bread and then some cheese and then a drink of milk." "It's good," said Benny. He began to put some blueberries in his mouth. The dog had supper too. Jessie gave him bread as he lay on the around beside her, and he drank milk out of her hand. When supper was over, there was some milk left in each bottle. "I'll have the rest of the milk for breakfast," said Jessie. "Tonight we're going to sleep on beds. Let's get some pine needles now." Soon the children had a big pile. Henry jumped into the boxcar. Jessie gave him the pine needles. He made 4 beds in one end of the car. "This side is the bedroom," said Jessie. "What will the other side be?" asked Benny. "The other side?" asked Jessie. "Let me think. I guess it'll be a sitting room, and maybe sometime it will be the kitchen." When she said, "Come now, come and get washed," she took the cake of soap and went down to the brook. "That will be fun, Benny," said Violet. "We'll splash our paws in the brook just as little brown bear does." She knew that Benny did not like to be washed. The children were all very hot, and so they were glad to splash the cold water. Benny put cold water and soap on his face with the others and dried his hands on a towel. "We'll have a line to dry the towels on," said Jessie. So she took the string out of the laundry bag and tied it to one end of the tree. The other end of the string she tied to the boxcar. This made a good clothesline. When she had washed one towel and Violet had washed the other one, they hung both towels on the clothesline. "It looks like home," said Henry. "See the washing?" he laughed. Jessie was thinking, "We ought to get some water to drink before bed," he said. "But what shall we put it in?" "Let's put all the milk in 2 bottles," said Henry. "Then we can fill the other 2 with water." "Good," said Jessie. "You go along to the fountain," said Henry. "You can hide if someone comes along." Henry went along very quietly and soon came back with 2 bottles full of cold water. Benny drank a little, but he was almost asleep. The other children helped him into the boxcar. Then they all climbed in, Jessie carrying the dog. He laid at once beside her. "It's so very hot that we'll leave the door open," said Henry. Soon they were all fast asleep, dog and all. The moon came up, but they did not see it. This was the first time in 4 days that they could go to sleep at night, as children should. And that's the end of that chapter. See you later.